the man who basically tried to run the shit out of Hulk Hogan in the 80s, and I to me was the prototype for Jerry Lawler. I mean, I think he probably, he was the main guy, and Jerry Lawler was copying him. Bobby the Brain Heenan, how you doing, Bobby?
Not bad. I've been on hold here so long I've shaved twice. My kid's 41 now. How you doing?
How you doing, Bobby?
Good.
Dude, man. We had the Honky Tonk 2 weeks ago, and then we had Bobby Heenan. I mean, I was one of the biggest Bobby Heenan fans. I mean, just because he was kicking the shit out of Hulk Hogan. Anybody that was kicking the shit out of Hulk Hogan was good for me.
Yeah, it's true, Bobby. This guy's always, he's been running around here like a little schoolgirl when he found out we got Bobby the Brain Heenan on the show.
Well, maybe a tranquilizer gun would work.
So what's going on with Bobby the Brain Heenan these days? I know we went out to the website and found out all kinds of goodies about you, but I didn't see a lot on current news. What you're doing to keep yourself busy?
Well, I'm putting all my memorabilia together, and I'm going to unload it.
Oh, right on. You've been collecting that through all the years?
Yeah, some of my old sequin jackets and trunks and boots and other outfits I wore on Raw and different stuff like that. It's just I got the memories in my head and on tape. So I don't need all the stuff just collecting dust. So I'm going to get rid of it all.
You can auction that stuff off? Or?
Well, what I'm doing, I'm working with somebody right now, and within a week on the website we'll tell you where you can find out about it.
Wow.
So
even the red sequin jacket?
Everything's going.
Wow.
Even the white tux from WrestleMania 3.
Ooh.
Shit.
Wow.
So you hold no sentimental value to that stuff?
Sentimental value? You got $50, you can have my third wife.
Oh, man. Hey, you know what? I may do that. Well, what's she look like?
I'll give you 60 for the one I got now.
Uh-oh. What's that one look like?
She's like a Viking woman.
Viking woman?
Yeah, big curls, big arms, big horns.
Oh, man. So no sentimental value, I guess.
For me, no.
Well, you're right. You got your memories.
If I was into wrestling for anything more than money, you're stupid.
Right. But you stay with it for 40 years. You got to think it's got to be more than the money at that point, right? I mean,
well, the only reason a guy drives a limo instead of a cab is because he owns the suit.
True.
Right.
True. You started off in Chicago wrestling at the Marigold, right?
No, not the Marigold. I went to the Marigold when I was a kid, but I left Chicago when I was 15.
Wow.
How did you get your start in wrestling, though? I mean, we know him as a manager, but he did wrestling before, right?
Yeah.
I started as a manager.
Started as a manager, then became a wrestler, and then went back to a manager, right?
Oh, did he?
I never quit managing. What I did is, when I started managing, I figured it out. A manager was usually an old guy that couldn't work anymore. So like a Blassie. So they made him a manager. Well, I was 20 years old. And I said to myself, how I'm going to make money at this? I was about 180 pounds. And I said, I'm not going to make any money as a wrestler. I'm too small right now. And it'll take me a while to put the weight on to get the experience. I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a manager. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage like a wrestler.
Right on.
And when I get in the ring, I'm going to manage like a wrestler and get involved where they're going to have to use me in main events. And then when I get in the ring, I'm going to work like a manager.
There you go. That makes sense.
And that's what got me over.
Wow.
So now, at that time, was anybody doing that manager gig? Would you consider yourself...
There was a manager, a good friend of mine, his name was Bobby Davis. He used to manage Buddy Rogers.
Right.
And owns about 10 Wendy's now in Bakersfield.
Oh.
But I didn't meet him till after I'd been in the business. And I started in 65, and I'm not sure what other managers were around. There was Ernie Roth was around, the Grand Wizard.
But you're still talking about guys that were past their prime, so to speak.
Yeah, there was nobody I knew coming up to be a manager. I was it.
So
I was the first manager the NWA ever allowed in St. Louis.
So a pioneer of sorts in that arena.
I was the first manager ever to work for the NWA in Japan.
Right on. Well, listen, I'm breaking my heart over here. You're selling all your stuff off.
Well...
Thinking, but I'm going to take advantage of it. I wouldn't mind that sequin jacket hanging up here in the studio.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Well, I got a red one, a blue one, and a black one.
You wore that red one at the WOW pay-per-view. I mean,
that was
the highlight of the show. No, it was actually it was a good pay-per-view. I flew.
I had fun. I enjoyed it. They were very nice to me.
I flew down there from Vegas. Hey, that was an effort on my part. I had $80 in the plane, so. But it was an outstanding pay-per-view. I mean, and I went backstage after the show and I interviewed you and the girls and stuff. I mean, everybody was nice. David McClain was really nice. Gave me a couple T-shirts and everything. I don't know what happened ever since then because that was the last thing they did.
Well, I think they went broke.
Yeah.
And what happens is they're not trying to put Vince out of business. He's just trying to make some money.
Yeah.
But he's a real nice guy, and I think he gives a lot of it away to people.
Yeah,
and with the production costs on a building, and when you're putting TV shows together, and some of his people told me they had clearance in like 70 cities.
Yeah.
But that could be at 2:00 in the morning in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
So that doesn't do your TV any good. It doesn't help your business. So that's what happened to him. He just ran out of money, I think.
Just to clarify for those listening that don't know what WOW is, which most of you don't, which is probably why it folded. Women of Wrestling. They did how long did they run?
That was February.
February was the last event they ever did.
First and last pay-per-view,
First and last, and they started. The show started. I think
folding after pay-per-views, dude.
Well, they only had something like 27,000 people buy that pay-per-view, and
in the United States.
And I don't know. I mean, I think if it wasn't for you, Bobby Heenan, I don't think they would have had anywhere near that amount. I mean, just the interest of seeing you back on a wrestling pay-per-view is what brought a lot of people to that pay-per-view, don't you think?
Well, I'd like to hope so. You never know what goes through some wrestling fans' mind.
Yeah, I mean...
The scary thing about fans, remember, they can vote and breed.
Right.
As we know in Florida, sometimes they can't vote right either.
Yeah. Well, they can vote right, they can't count.
Can't count. They vote more than once.
I punched that chat so well, man. That thing went right through the other side.
That's right. You were in Florida when during the
Actually, no, I was in Vegas. I sent an absentee ballot.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were one of those controversial ballots.
No,
the absentee ballots came into play.
Now, Bobby, have you heard about Bischoff going over to England to the Wrestle Express? What do you think of that?
I haven't heard anything about Bischoff in a long time. He did what?
Yeah, well, there's a big event coming up in October in England called Wrestle Express, and they're bringing Bischoff over as a special guest commentator as well as the creative director of this huge event. They're billing it as the WrestleMania of England. And supposedly this promotion is going to take off supposedly next year and have shows weekly, basically like the WWF, because apparently they see an opening for wrestling in England because the Vince only comes over once or twice a year. They see an opening for them.
Well, it's an open market over there, and the people are starved for things to do.
Right.
And if you could run a program that made sense and ran it properly and right, you probably could do some business over there, a lot of business.
Now, would you go over there if they asked you to come over? Or?
If who asked me?
Bischoff?
No.
Or no?
No.
You've had it with
I played in the yard with him once.
So, I mean, would you consider yourself kind of done?
No.
Just the right opportunity came along, you'd get back
Oh,
involved?
sure. If Vince called me and there was the right money and the right amount of time, I'd do it. And I got some irons in the fire right now. I'm going to maybe do some stuff out in New Jersey. And I might be involved in some of the stuff with Hogan coming up.
Speaking of which,
is that promotion taken off, or because I heard stories that he was talking with Universal Studios and no announcement was made that I'm aware of.
I hear they'll know something next week.
Wow, that's good.
Actually, somebody. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut off. Somebody wrote up and taken this is from a fan. They wrote up and says, "Why are you sucking up to Hulk Hogan now?"
Why am I?
That's what the guy said.
Actually, he called before you came on.
Yeah, he said, "Well, can you ask him why is he sucking up to Hulk Hogan?"
Because everybody's smart now. I don't have to kayfabe it anymore.
Well,
so that means the guy's still a mark.
Yeah,
true. I guess so. I mean,
is he still mad at Boris Karloff because he was in The Mummy?
Right.
It's just a role we play. Get with it, goof.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. You guys do these shows and you expect the truth, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do this show unless I can say the truth.
Yeah. Go right ahead, man.
And that's the way it is.
And if you want to curse, you can curse. I mean, we had
yeah, we're uncensored.
We're uncensored. I mean,
now, what do you think of all that hullabaloo going on with Lawler, with him leaving the WWF? I mean, is that just nonsense or what? I mean,
well, I don't know the whole story why he left.
It's just.
And I don't talk to Lawler.
No, well, it's just that he's been on every. Honky Tonk Man was on a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that Lawler's been on basically every website. Known the man, putting posts up that he's complaining and everything else.
Well, crying back to get his job back.
Yeah, he's basically begging to get his job back. But I mean, some of it's just get on with your life. I mean, don't you think? I mean,
Well, that's one thing I don't do is get in other people's business, and I really don't know why he'd want back or why he'd leave. Everybody has to make the decision. The reason I left New York was I was tired. I was tired of traveling.
Yeah.
I was tired of New York City. I was tired of Vince is a dominating person. He demands a lot out of the television people, and there's a lot of work. I can remember after WrestleMania, I'd have to get on a private plane and fly all the way back to Connecticut and do post-production some of the shows.
So it's tiring, huh?
Yeah.
Was WCW at the time? I mean, I think when he jumped, WCW wasn't even running any house shows. I mean, they were only running once a week or something like that. I mean,
I don't know.
No, when you jumped to WCW, I mean, from WWF, I mean, WCW wasn't running all these house shows, were they?
I don't know. I don't know what towns they've ever run. I didn't leave WWF and go to WCW. I left WWF to take off 6 months
and then
to a year.
WCW.
And they called me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing 1 hour a week.
Which was nice.
And they told me the price, and I said, sure, for 1 hour. So I wound up doing worldwide.
Has the WWF operated WCW contacted you at all about filling in any voids over there with the new WCW?
No.
No?
No, not at all.
Do you foresee it a possibility that they might?
Well, if they call, I'll listen. Sure. I'm 56. I don't want to quit already and sit around here. I'll sit around here another couple more weeks with my wife, and I'll be having thoughts like OJ. And I mean off with the juggler. I got a lot of other things I do, and I got other interests I have, and I want to get out and do it. I just don't want to be home all the time. I enjoy the time I've had off now. I'm sitting here in the dock of the bay and relaxing, but I'd like to work a couple days a week to just get out.
Right.
True. Now,
you've been traveling for 40 years. The last thing you want to do is just sit home now.
Yeah. I mean, how did it feel coming out at WrestleMania and doing with Mean Gene doing that gimmick battle royal?
That was great.
Yeah, I mean,
that was fun. It was so good to be around people that were professional.
Right.
It was so good to be around a class crew of professional people that know how to produce a television show.
Absolutely. I mean, you seemed like you were having the time of your life out there. I mean.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
And in the back, no one's got their own little groups and they're whispering, and no one's got this guy stabbing him in the back, and everybody's helping everybody and talking. It was a pleasure to be there.
Yeah, because I talked to Jonathan Coachman at the XFL game here in Vegas, and he said all the guys in the back were just, Bobby Heenan's here, Okerlund. I mean, like they said, two gods are in the locker room, and they're floored by it. I mean, it must have made you feel good to have respect from all those young guys in the back.
Well, it is nice, It doesn't make you feel old. It just makes you feel nice. These people have watched your career and watched you and everything. So, and he's got a bunch of good talent.
When I saw you and Gene head into the arena, I was like thinking to myself, this has got to be a WCW tryout for the new order WCW. I mean, Bobby the Brain and Mean Gene Okerlund bringing it back, but damn it.
Well, if we have to audition, they're in deep shit.
Well, for lack of a better term, I know what
a
prequel to that. I was hoping, but alas, I guess it hasn't happened yet.
I think I have as much chance of audition as you're going to catch Zsa Zsa washing dishes. I'm seeing Richard Simmons at a titty bar.
The only thing about that gimmick battle royal, I wish it would last at least a couple more minutes. I mean, the intros lasted longer than the match itself.
Well,
I think they could go there anymore.
Most of those guys were Medicare.
Yeah.
Sheik took forever to get to the ring.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I told him when I got in the back, I said, by the time you get to the ring for the next battle, you'll be at war again. You'll be your own hostage.
Let me ask you real quick. Why is it that you left WCW?
I had 1 more year left on my contract, and they called me and said that they didn't want to renew it because I was making too much money for what I did. I said, well, give me more to do. They said, well, there is no more for you to do. I said, well, I started here. I was working 1 day a week, and then got a feather up his nose or something, so he quit. So Eric had me doing, I was hired to do worldwide. Then he had me doing
pay-per-views.
Yeah, the pay-per-views and what Jesse did, stuff from Center Stage on 17. And so I said, well, if I'm doing more, I should be compensated. So he gave me more, and then after the second year of contract, I asked for another raise, and I got it. And then the last year, when Russo came on board, he wanted a more younger MTV look, so he got Madden.
Yeah, which turned out to be an incredible success.
I hear he's paying Willie Nelson now to hang around with him, so he'll look good.
Dude, man, I mean,
and then they took me off the other one, and they put Stevie Ray on.
See, this is the problem. I mean, when WCW was at its heyday, I mean, Bobby Heenan was coming up with the snappy comebacks and the things like that, like what Lawler was doing on Raw in the later parts. I mean,
but they wouldn't let me be Bobby Heenan at WWF at WCW. They wanted me to be a different Bobby Heenan. See, like we had an old timers get together in Philadelphia one year, and Wahoo was going to be there. So I said to Tony on the air, I said, "When's the last time you went to a great Indian restaurant?" Think of it. What do they have to eat? You eat turquoise and blanket?
And they didn't want to let you. I mean,
well, I did say that. Then Eric called me at home, and he said, "What if it was a black man? Would you say watermelon? If it was a Jewish man, would you have said corned beef?" He said, "You can't say things like that." I said, "I'm talking about Wahoo. I've said this about Wahoo for 20 years."
Dude, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's
well, at Turner, you can't do that. He says, "I have to write you up for this." Go ahead.
I don't know.
That's not. I mean, then they're full of. I mean, no wonder they're out of business now. I mean, shit. God.
Yeah. You remember when they were using all the different stings to come out?
Yeah.
Well, one night we've seen about 3 stings already, and this one guy comes out the back, and I said, "There's another one. I'll tell you, that's not Sting." And I got back. Eric said, "Jesus, Bobby," he says, "You're too smart. You tipped everybody's hand." Well, first of all, you want us to look stupid out there, you got a guy coming out who's Sting, who's 6'8" and weighs 28 pounds. Bald-headed guy.
At least find somebody
from
that fits
Uganda. I'm not supposed to know that Sting? Then you should have Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder doing the commentary. I can see stuff.
Well, then you had Shivani sitting next to you going, "Oh my God, it's Sting! It's the greatest night in the history of wrestling."
Yeah, I think every night was doing the Farm and Weather Report from Omaha.
I mean, here you're basically being honest with the fans, and then Shivani sitting next to you making things up. I mean, it was incredible.
You don't realize how stupid he looks.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Shivani and Bobby Heenan made a great team, though. I mean,
I don't know.
whether or not, I mean, they were
Shivani, I'll tell you something, guys. Shivani is not a good man.
Yeah.
When I left there in November 2nd, I must have had 50 people from Turner call me. He has never spoke to me since. He's never said a word to me. He even told Tenay, they went to a ball game in San Diego. He says, "You know, when the wrestling business is over, for you and I, we'll never be friends."
Wow.
So that's just the way he is.
What was the source of the tension between you?
He just doesn't talk to people. He ignores everyone. He hates wrestling fans. He hates internet, and he hates wrestlers. He wants to be a baseball announcer.
You know what? That's probably why he was so bland. Towards the end. I mean, it's just he seems like he didn't care. Remember? I mean, I mentioned that a couple of times.
He wants to be a baseball announcer.
Well.
That's what he wants to do.
So he thought he was above the whole wrestling thing.
Well, I told him one day, I says, "You're at the right place," because I know when I came from the major leagues down here to T-ball, there was an opening. So there should be something for you.
So, the rest of the internet things, I was actually heading towards a question about that. What you've seen the internet, like WCW, a lot of people speculate that WCW started booking for the internet fans.
They did.
I mean...
oh, yeah, there was no doubt about that.
Well, especially with Russo. I mean, that's what he was doing.
Oh, they want to see... They were booking off for the internet.
Yeah, I still say if you want to ruin a company, you got to bring in Vince Russo to ruin it for you. Don't you agree?
Well, I never had that much dealings with him.
Yeah.
He didn't like me, and I wasn't there that long. And I said something one day, and he didn't like it. They had some guys come in the ring that were supposed to be attorneys, and then they had Goldberg come out and spear them.
Yeah.
And then the guys just jumped up and left the ring. So they were going to do something else with some guys in suit and ties. So I raised my hand during the production meeting, which during the production meeting, all they ever did was read you the format and then let you go. So I just said, if you're going to do it with those guys again, maybe whoever the agent is handling it should tell who's ever in the suits and ties to stay down.
Right.
You don't want Goldberg to beat up 2 guys 110 pounds like Bob Newhart, and they get up and look at him. So he looked at me for a while and looked over at Eric and said, "We'll work on it."
So back to the internet thing, do you think that the emergence of all the internet gossip brags and what people like to call the smart wrestling fans, I mean, this has definitely fueled that, I think. People see more of the behind the scenes as a result of the internet. Do you think that's helped or hurt wrestling as a whole?
Oh, it's definitely hurt wrestling.
Because
first of all, if everybody knew it was a work, that's one thing. But it's a different thing when you tell them.
Yeah, that's the problem that I had with Chevron.
If Blackstone shows you how to do his magic tricks, there'll be nobody at Caesars to see his show next week.
Exactly.
True. Yeah.
People knew it was a work, but a lot of people said,
but the magician
not that match, but I saw something happen. They want to catch you.
Right.
And they want to be entertained. And once they know, once you know the girl next door puts up, you ain't going over there no more.
Yeah, right.
Because everybody's going to know it.
Yeah.
That was the problem with them. I mean, they would, ever so often, and WWE started it a little bit, like they did it with when Mankind took that big bump off the top of the cage on King of the Ring. Jim Ross did mention, guys, this might not be, he might be seriously hurt. Trying to say, we're stepping out of the show. But yet again, I don't think they expected it. I don't think anybody expected him doing that because the Spanish announcers were still in the freaking seats when that happened. But but with Russo and stuff like that, I mean,
well, they wouldn't tell us, the announcers. They would not tell a man who's got 40 years experience and this what was going on. And you know what the excuse was? We want you to act surprised. Well, I'll tell you something. I've been in the business 40 years. And I've gone to the ring in the International Theater in Chicago where they've shot at me. I've been stabbed. I've fought my way to the ring and back. I know what it is to be in a fight. When you get in a fight, you don't hit a guy with a clothesline.
Right.
You don't ass bump a guy. The word huda karana never comes up. You hook onto anything round on his body and bite. That's what you do. So if, let's say, two guys were to get in a fight in the ring, you know what I would do? I would say nothing. Because I don't see that happening. It's never happened.
Right.
So I would think, woo, I better not say nothing. They'll fix it up in post. So he wants me to act like I'm really, really concerned if Bagwell gets his ass kicked? Come on!
But that was the main problem. Was, I mean, it happened with Stevie, with whatever her name, Miss Hancock. So she was pregnant. There was a bump in there. I mean, and they say like, guys, this is not a work and whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks for telling us this is a work.
I didn't like...
Yeah, we do know this is as thick as a $3 bill, but don't tell me. I want to be entertained. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, it's what it is it was a bunch of people playing television. It's like apartment wrestling. Remember they used to take pictures in the apartments of girls wrestling and put it in the books?
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. You had a bunch of people that were hired by a bunch of people with Turner who didn't want to be bothered with wrestling. So these people said, hey, I got a wood desk with 4 drawers and a chair turns around. I got a pencil and paper. I'll write down wrestlers' names and pretend I'm a booker.
Yep.
They made the makeup girl executive producer once.
Oh, my God.
She couldn't put lipstick on her face.
Oh, my God.
Let alone be an executive producer. She couldn't find her ass with both hands. And they made her a producer.
Oh.
And then they wouldn't talk to you. They would ignore you. You'd never say hello to you. It was the worst place. It was the most unprofessional place I've ever been. And there were some good people that worked there. There were some real good people. But they were stifled. They weren't allowed to produce.
Like who?
Keith Mitchell's a good guy. A guy named Woody Kurtz is a good guy. There were some good people who worked in the office there. But they just weren't allowed to do anything. It was just ridiculous. When you beat Goldberg, I'm sorry, that don't make sense.
That's true.
Do you think that was probably the only positive thing WCW ever did? I mean, probably the most brilliant thing, and it probably happened by accident?
I think one of the positive things was when they brought all the Mexican wrestlers over.
That's true.
Because, the number one radio station and TV station in L.A. is Spanish.
Right.
There's a lot of Spanish people in this country. But, what they did is they were stupid. They brought over 10 Mexicans that were masked, and they all did the same thing. What you should have done is brought 2 Mexicans and 10 hoods. You could have just switched Mexicans.
Saved a lot of money.
Saved a lot of money in the
Sure,
salary.
they all live in Mexico City. They're not riding a hound to Detroit.
Now, where do you think wrestling's going right now? I mean, with the WWF basically owning the world right now, I mean, you think it's going to help?
I really think it's not doesn't look good.
No.
You have to have competition.
Do you think anybody?
If you don't have competition, you become lethargic.
Do you think
and if the people can't go back and forth to watch and see who's jumping sides and who's leaving, who's doing this or something, wrestling will get old and stale.
Do you think Hogan's promotion's going to be a threat to Vince, or?
I don't even know what kind of a thing it is. I heard it was some kind of a theme at the amusement park.
Oh.
I don't know if he's going into towns to run or anything. I think it's going to be an amusement at the park.
I've always said this, and these two humanoids are the ones that always criticize me for saying this. Do you think Vince left Monday nights open, hoping that somebody's going to put up something?
Left Monday night. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he bought WCW, and he's not going to put it in on Monday nights to go in against him. So he's still running on a post. You know, why is it?
I don't think he's even concerned right now about WCW. He had some problems with that XFL, and now I understand he's got some problems with the TNN.
Yeah.
Is he really?
And so they wanted to put what was it, WCW on at midnight on Saturday nights.
And TNN doesn't want to?
And I just heard on the radio the other day that I guess when they had to deal with TNN, they were told that WWF was told that TNN were in a lot more homes than they really are.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think they've made a jump yet to do anything about it.
Oh, I believe that.
Because I think he's going to clean all this other stuff up first.
Oh, yeah. Well, they said that supposedly Vince was putting out feelers to the USA Network about going back to the USA now because they feel they have a.
If I was USA Network, I would. Well, maybe because they make money.
They feel they have grounds for breach of a contract because, like Bobby said, that TNN's not in as many homes as they said.
I don't know if that's true. That's just what I heard on the radio here.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Yeah, and then there's not enough. Something else too. They weren't giving them the promotion that they promised and. On and on and on, and then so who knows?
Well, listen, TNN's going to bend over backwards to please the WWF, whether they were in breach of contract or not, because let's face it,
the #1 show every week.
Yeah, TNN is WWF at this point. But they've built that network.
But just out of curiosity,
you know what happened when WWF went to TNN? It was like let's see, what did I say? It was like Major League Baseball going to hee-haw.
That's what it was.
You always thought of it as one of Jarrett's promotions down there in Memphis, TNN, you know?
Yeah, they made
we'll get stock car racing, and maybe we'll get a Charlie Pride concert.
They got popped, though. Still trying to figure out what the fuck.
They think they do.
But do you think that maybe he's secretly hoping that somebody will put a company against him to make it entertaining again on Monday nights? I mean,
well,
maybe a Hogan or something like that. I mean, trying to.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, it's got to be in the back of his mind.
He loves a fight, and he loves a challenge. I know that. And he doesn't like to sit around and do nothing, and with nothing happening out there and him owning it all, I don't know what direction it's going to take, if the fans will even be interested.
Well, I tell you this much.
They need to cut down on the pay-per-views now.
WWF fans are interested in WCW now.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, I mean, they could get more ratings than WCW had just from the WWF fans watching it.
Yeah.
But so all the fans that were WCW fans did not, I mean, when WCW ended on Monday nights, that whatever 2 point something that they were getting on a week in, week out, I mean, that 2.1 did not go to WWF.
No, their ratings are falling. I mean,
it's the same. At the best, it's the same.
Yeah. Well, they got
where are these where are these three people that are watching WCW?
I don't know, Bobby, if you've been watching Raw, I mean, the product's really gotten stale, I think, over the last 2 or 3 months.
Well, see, I hadn't watched it for months, for years. So on and off, if I was home or something, I usually was gone Monday nights.
Just
you know what I did one night? This promotion, this is how they promote now and produce. Do you remember the Nitro set when we were in the back before they had us at ringside?
I think so.
It was elevated. You had to go upstairs. And and Tenay and Zabisco.
Yeah, in the corner of the arena.
And they turned the podium.
Yeah.
Well, it shows you how dumb they are. We go on against Raw. Eric brings out a TV set and puts it in front of our set so he can sit there and watch Raw.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'm sitting there, and I'm calling Raw's action on Nitro. Because I'm watching it. I'm not watching my monitor. I'm watching the other monitor. And I'm interested in that, and I'm talking about Owen Hart, and then it hits me. Wait a minute. What the hell am I doing? But they never picked it up, anybody. They never knew I said that.
Oh, my God.
So, see, the toilet was ready to flush.
That was the thing that was obvious with the WCW, too. They were too concerned about the WWF.
And it worked at the beginning, though. When they were giving away the matches.
Once with the Sheik in Detroit and Dick the Bruiser. Bruiser went into Detroit to go against the Sheik, and they fought for years. And that was like a local promotion going against the NWA, where Sheik was a member of the National Wrestling Alliance. So every time we went to Detroit, Sheik would run. He'd load the cars. He'd bring in everybody from the NWA in those days. The Briscoes, the Funks. They'd bring Bruno from New York, everybody. And Bruiser was just trying to beat the Sheik so bad. Instead of going in there and running your own promotion and just worrying about them. and just try to draw some money. But they were all so worried about everybody, and that's what killed them.
Let me ask you one quick question. We gotta wrap it up. I think that the defining moment when WCW went completely down the drain, I mean for good, was when Eric Bischoff goes on Nitro the night that they had taped that whole thing on CNN, whatever, the CNN Tower, whatever it was, the one with DX. Remember back, like, what, 97, I think it was, 98?
Invade?
Yeah, the supposedly invasion thing. And he mentions that on Nitro before Raw even goes on. And you're on top.
Oh, at that time, right.
Why do you care that they did this? I mean, first of all, as soon as he said that, I'm going, oh, really? I want to turn on 9 o'clock now.
Well, sure, as soon as you tell, he's promoting their show.
Yeah. Every time he tells
that was unbelievable.
In the toilet.
Well, and then he did the thing with Mankind. Oh, don't watch the USA because Mankind's going to win the belt. Well, everybody's turned the channel then to see Mankind win the belt.
It worked at the beginning, though, when they were doing it live, and then they were saying who the matches were and who won and who lost. I think a lot of people, I mean, I was one of them, like, all right, why do I need to watch this because it's taped?
That was nonsense. I mean, you would sit there and listen to Jim Ross saying, oh, on Nitro, Sting's going to lose the belt to Hogan. They never would have done that. I mean,
it's simple. It's like hiring 2 butchers to run a bakery. I mean, they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
So, do you ever see yourself? Have you ever had any interest in being more active in a promotion?
You mean money wise?
Well, no.
Booking wise.
No, booking wise.
Booking, no.
No.
No, I don't want to make anybody living with me. I don't want to have a 24-hour daycare center. And I don't want people calling me all the time. And one thing happens as soon as you get your name put on your number put on your license plate, they trade you.
Right.
As soon as you take that job, you're on your way out.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
go.
All right, Bobby. It's been
Guys,
a pleasure.
remember this about WCW.
Yes.
Oh man,
I really feel.
Oh man.
Now I'm wondering if you've been sitting there taking a shit the whole time you've been talking to us.
That's the only way I can after hearing your show.
Oh yeah.
Works better than X-Lax, I think.
And it doesn't make you jump around that much.
Oh man, that's too much. Bobby the Brain Heenan, folks, and now you guys.
Don't forget, it's www.bobbythebrain.com.
And you guys update the website with news on you and what's going on. And
I haven't been because of the move, and now we're getting all the computers hooked back up and everything.
It's a great site, though. It looks pretty good.
I get my secretary working on it.
I like the big brain out
on
right.
duct paper.
That's pretty cool. All right, thanks, Bobby.
Okay, guys, remember drinks on the house.
All right.
Around the giraffe.
Yeah, we go to mugshot. There we go. Yeah.
Right on, Bobby. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Take care, guys.